Hey guys, we wanted to follow up from our last video and share with you some specific ways to help yourself and others through this. So let's actually start with how you can help yourself.
So you might be wondering why we would start here when there are so many others who are in dire need of help. Well, it's the same as we preach and practice about self-care. And that is, if you're not in a good place, then your ability to be there for others is going to be greatly diminished. So we like to use the analogy of the oxygen mask on the airplane and how they suggest that you put yours on before you would assist others.
So how exactly can you do that during a crisis like this? Remember your brain. It's going to tell you to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and expend as little energy as possible. But none of that's going to put you in a better position to help others. So do this instead. Think about ways that you can create and contribute instead of consume. That is really important at a time like this. So let's dive into how you can do that.
So first off, start with creating your positive perspective. And a great way to do this is by generating feelings of abundance, generosity, and gratitude. And here are several ways that you can do that.
Start thinking about all the things you're thankful for. So make a list. This includes your friends, your family, your health, your house, etc. Write all those down so you can go back and review them as needed to create and foster positive emotions.
And the second way would be start with a daily gratitude practice. And with this, you want to write down 1 to 3 things that you're grateful for. And if you're struggling with ideas, what to come up with, revert back to that thankful list that Matt had just talked about.
Third, imagine a positive future. Remember your brain again. It's going to think and focus on all the scary future outcomes. So if your brain's going to think about the future, let's direct it to think of one that is in your best interest, that's going to serve you. So take a few minutes each day, visualize that positive future, whatever that looks like for you, and this can be a really powerful exercise.
And fourthly, be positive in your interactions with others. Now is not the time to be divisive or argue politics or anything else. If you feel the desire to be divisive, ask yourself a really powerful question, and that is, what would love do right now? Or what would Christ do right now?
Okay, so now you've set your positive perspective. The second thing we recommend you do is share more love and compassion with your world. So there's a reason love is part of the greatest commandment in the Bible. It's not an accident. And that's because love is the most powerful of all positive emotions.
So here you can focus on loving those that are close to you. Think of your spouse, kids, extended family, friends. And as we talked about in our prior video, you can send 3 texts a day to check in and encourage these that are close to you.
Also, love and help others, such as, for example, a group of people that's been most impacted by this that you want to focus on and help. It feels very powerful to be able to help, especially when you have the means and the time and the ability to do so. Ask that really powerful question. What would love do? That's such a great way to brainstorm ideas. And what's fun about this is that the first handful might seem really obvious, but as you continue to think about it and write down other ideas, you'll get more and more creative.
Don't forget to be loving and compassionate to yourself. So many of us harbor negative thoughts and beat ourselves up with them. How powerful would it be? How much would it open our lives if we simply use this as an opportunity to stop doing that? Be curious and try to understand your negative thoughts and emotions rather than beat yourself up and try to suppress them. That is the key to being able to start changing them.
And of course, we can't forget the obvious. Caring for your health, your energy levels through working out, eating healthy, and like we discussed in our last video, avoiding overindulging in food, alcohol, and other unhealthy habits that don't serve you.
So here are more specific ideas on how you can help others. First off, follow the guidelines for social distancing. And you could put Matt and I into the camp where we didn't initially think that this was going to be that serious, but quickly we have found out otherwise. And you personally, even though you personally may not be in the high risk group, you never know when you might be passing the virus onto someone who then comes into contact with people in the high risk group.
Also understand, some people are asymptomatic, which means they don't show any symptoms. So you might expose yourself or others without even realizing it. Here's the other side of this, guys. Doing this protects the people on the front lines who are being forced to fight this, our nurses and doctors. And it also helps prevent hospitals from overcrowding and potentially running out of supplies.
So how do you help those most directly impacted by this? Think of people at the front line, like Matt just mentioned. So you've got your healthcare professionals, first responders. You've also got people who have lost their jobs through all of this. You have people in the high risk category, such as elderly and those with pre-existing health conditions. You also have people who contract the virus and their immediate family. And I don't know about you, but Matt and I here lately, we've been hearing a lot of stories about this. And lastly, you can buy gift cards and order takeout from your local restaurants to help support them through all of this.
Here's some further suggestions on how you can help those people we just mentioned. Again, send encouraging text, letting them know that you're thinking of and praying for them. Reach out with a phone call. You know how you actually talked into your phone once upon a time? It's a great way to connect with people that feel isolated and lonely. In fact, we just started periodically calling a couple of our elderly neighbors. Write encouraging thank you notes. Get your kids involved with this. This is a great way to teach them gratitude while they're at home. And then lastly, send a thoughtful gift. You could send gift cards from a local restaurant or food delivery service. Or for those people who have lost their jobs, sending a gift card for a grocery or grocery delivery service is a great thing to do for them. Also, you can help your high-risk neighbors by offering to run errands or go to the grocery for them.
Another way would be to donate money to supporting causes. So here you've got, for instance, food banks. And here locally we have one called The Refuge. Or there are also national organizations like Feeding America and Why Hunger that fight hunger by supporting those food banks. There's also an organization called No Kid Hungry, and they help feed kids in need when they're not in school. So think about, all the kids who depend on those school lunches. There's also an organization called Global Giving, and they have started a virus relief fund for providing medical supplies to healthcare professionals. And then lastly, check in with your church.
So the other thing you can do is volunteer your time. Now understand, this is only if you're not in the high risk group, but or if you would be in contact with somebody in the high risk group on a regular basis. But there's such a need for this right now because of all those high risk people that used to volunteer that can't. So again, food banks, other charitable organizations are in real need of this. The Red Cross has issued a statement saying that they're in severe shortage of blood, so they need blood donors. There's an organization called Love for the Elderly that through them you can write notes to elderly people that are quarantined in nursing homes. This would be another great thing to get your kids involved with while they're at home. And then also, if you're in the high risk group, there's actually remote volunteer possibilities that you can do online or through the phone. One is just providing companionship to the elderly. Another is mentoring students. And then lastly, your church probably has volunteer opportunities you can get involved in as well.
So in closing, here's our suggestion for you. Focus on ways you can help yourself through this so then you can best help others. As our church shared over the weekend in the service, we are all writing our own story through this. Think about what you want your story to be when you look back at this time.
All right, guys, that is it. If you have any questions or any further ideas on this, we'd love to hear from you. So please share them with us. Much love and health to you all.
Bye now.